Hey everybody, it's Matt Hillier. I don't know which camera I'm supposed to be looking at. This one right here?
Sure.
Yeah, okay, cool. Matt Hillier, Cadillac Barn, as always, and I'm here with two of my best friends in the whole world, and everybody loves you guys. And why wouldn't they? What's not to love? Max Stalling and Heather Stalling here. So
Stallings is
yeah, somewhere in internet land, people are like,
yeah, baby. Yeah. Thanks for having us.
No,
glad to be here.
Glad we could, man.
Yeah.
The last time I think I pulled the rug out from under you.
Yeah. I don't remember that.
Yeah, okay. Fair.
Y'all got a good beer joint here.
It's good,
It's
right?
awesome, man.
It's a good joint.
I love it.
So,
Beautiful.
what's going on?
Man. Well, so this friend of mine called and said, hey, come up and drink some beer with us.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about it.
Well, good deal. I wanted to if I can get serious for a second, kind of pick your brain on questions that I probably already know the answer to. I'm sure I do, but maybe not everybody does. Sort of your beginning and being a songwriter, and because we were all kind of hanging out in the same circles at places like Naomi's and the Three Teardrops, and just for you yourself being more of a songwriter and not really having a full band for a while, and I don't know, just getting into it and like how that actually happened as far as you making the leap to say, all right, I've been writing all these songs, I got a notebook full of songs, time to put a band together, all that stuff. Well,
I mean, honestly, as you said, all the roads kind of led through the Three Teardrops. And that's where I met. That's where I met everybody that I know in the North Texas music scene. I met them in the Three Teardrops, or I can draw like just a one-person jump from the Three Teardrops. That's where I met Mark Manders. That's where I met Tommy Alverson. That's where I met Larry Joe Taylor. That's where I met Matt Hillier. That's where I met Steve Burr. That's where I met the people that ultimately led me to Heather. And honestly, I would say it was probably Mark Manders, who ultimately I was headed down that path, you know, and I had handed a tape. I don't know if I ever told you this. I had a cassette tape of some songs that I had written, and I handed it to Tommy Alverson. Just like, hey, I'm curious about this. What do you think? And Tommy was so sweet and so supportive, and really kind of patted me on the shoulder and said, you should continue with this. But it was Manders who really was like, you need to book a gig, and I'll tell you just a place. And he pointed me towards Naomi's, and then that's why I met you.
Right. So, but we became aware of each other at that time. But like, when was the moment where you're like, okay, I need a drummer, I need a bass player, I need a guitar player, I need a fiddle player? I mean, did the CD come first, or did
no, actually, I never really thought about ever having any of that stuff, because I just wanted to be the songwriter, right? I just wanted to write tunes, and those things only came out of self-defense.
Right.
I needed like a way to present these songs, because nobody was going to record them, so I'm going to have to perform them myself. And so I met T. Roy Miller, and I just ran into some people, and then he had a guy that he knew that played bass, but he was a full-time doctor. Added that guy, and then you know how it goes.
Yeah.
But it was never like, okay, step A, write some songs. Step B, get a band together. Step C, it was real like, yeah, I guess I ought to get a drummer, maybe.
Right.
I don't know. What do you think?
I'm interested in your aspect of it, because I mean, like for me, putting a band together was always the priority. Like, so that was always the focus. Like coming into it as a songwriter who didn't, you know, it's not like you were making the rounds, going and jamming with people just in a band, you know. So to be a songwriter and go, okay, I have all these songs, they're my songs. I need to put a band together around my songs. And now you're this, you know, your band throughout the years has historically been one of the best bands in I think around and in the biz, man. You run a tight ship, and it's a great show.
It's a solid group.
Yeah,
I feel very fortunate.
Yeah, I want to ask you something. Yeah, and we've talked about this before. Again, this is another thing where I know something about it before I ask the question, but I don't think everybody does. And everybody knows you, and they know how amazing you are, and they've seen you play with all kinds of folks. What I'm interested in is something we've kind of talked about, is your beginning as far as being a kid playing the violin or the fiddle, however you want to call it, when you started, and just, you know, you were talking about how I think you said your dad really stayed on top of you to practice all the time. Yeah. And then it was one of those things where you're kind of reluctant to do it. You're kind of like, okay, I don't want to do it.
I started when I was 3, and am I supposed to look at you or look over here? I'm not sure. I could look both places at one time. That would be weird.
You can look at
I can't do that.
Yeah.
I just tried. It didn't work.
Right.
No, I wanted to play it. I saw some people on TV play when I was 3, and I said, I want that. I want to do that. And I said, well, we're gonna rent you one, and then so they rented me one when I was 3, and on my 4th birthday, they bought me my first fiddle. My dad said, all right, well, we got to practice. My dad played guitar, kind of, sort of. And he said, we got to practice every night for an hour at least. And so by the time I was a senior in high school, my prom dates were waiting while my dad and I were practicing in the bathroom, because the acoustics were really good in there.
Yeah.
You know how that is. Yeah, best in the bathroom. Anyway, I'm glad, I hated them and loved them at the same time.
Right.
Yeah.
But my impression of her, and I'm answering for her, but my impression of you is that you love the instrument so much. I can't imagine, other than having, like, the fact that you had a date waiting for you, you're probably ready to go to the prom and go have some fun.
I was.
But you love your instrument. You love to play your instrument. It's an extension of you. There's a picture that her folks gave me the other day, and it's her, like, I don't know, how old were you in that picture? Maybe 4? And she's just got this glow on her face.
That was my birthday. That was my present.
It was apparent that, like, whoa.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and it shows. Like, even the first times we ever started hanging out and playing, and some of those times at Tres Rios.
We always have fun.
Oh, man. Well, and what's great about it, well, yeah. But I mean, what's great about it, always about playing with you, is there's no question whether or not you love to play, and
I love to play with good people, though. There is something.
We'll turn the cameras off. We'll talk about all the people you don't love to play with. Well, hey, speaking of which, let's take a break from talking, and you guys can actually play a song.
Okay.
It's a crazy concept.
Well, idea.
All right.
Are you playing with us?
No.
Oh.
No.
Okay.
Maybe.
All right.
Water, but grab kerosene now. Oh my goodness, despite my efforts for the blazing mess, I climbed in bed with my frozen feet. You felt something and threw back the sheets. So there I'm lying, there you're crying, how unfortunate. But all through it all, the truth was I loved you best. You're holding something better, and I'm holding no love letters and new regrets. The irony is just so glaring, 'cause now I've got this torch to carry and it burns, you bet. All through it all, the truth was I loved you best. Are we gonna break it down? You're holding something better, and I'm holding no love letters and new regrets. The irony is just so glaring, 'cause I've got this torch to carry and it burns, you bet. All through it all, the truth was I loved you best. Now toothpaste and tube is just one of the views I have about me and you lately. It's cliche cliche, I know, but seems apropos. If the shoe fits, I figure say it. I know it's a fact that I overreacted. Sometimes my passions, they betray me. The changes I made as I tried to complain. You were my bathwater, baby. Why did all the squeezing and I've got this real bad feeling that I made this mess. I did all the plug pulling and I've done no fooling. It's my fault, I guess. All through it all, the truth was I loved you best. All through it all, the truth was, oh, don't you know, the truth was, oh, don't you know.